All right, let's dive in. Today we're cracking the code on a really fascinating personality type, the thinking introvert, or TI. We're going to unpack the unique programming of someone who's driven by pure logic and powered by a quiet internal engine. So, ready to see what makes them tick? Let's get into it. You know that person, right? The one who seems to analyze everything with the precision of a computer, the one who is never satisfied until they are a true, undeniable expert in their field? Well, today we're popping the hood to really understand their unique operating system. Okay, so first up, let's meet this thinking introvert. What are the core components that actually make them who they are? Let's get a clear definition. It's all right there in the name, really. T is for thinking, that's their core processor, their intelligence machine, and the I, that's for introvert. Think of it as their internal power supply and steering wheel. So you've got this logical brain that is completely driven from within.
Okay, now here's something a little different, and it comes straight from the source material. It suggests a link to their physical build, what's called a perfectionist body type. The idea is that they often have a strong, dominant bone structure, almost like their physical frame is reflecting their internal strength and fortitude.
So, how is this person actually wired? Let's take a look at the blueprint of the TI brain, its very unique operating system.
So check this out. Their command center is in the left brain, specifically the inner white matter. And here's the kicker. That part of the brain is actually denser. It's packed with more brain cells. This basically creates this powerful, self-funded engine that just goes. It doesn't need anyone else to turn the key. So you might be wondering, where does all that energy go? Well, it's a pretty simple but really powerful flow. It all starts from within, and then it's used to push all that logical analysis and expertise out into the world. You know, these are the ultimate self-starters when it comes to deep thinking. But here's the crazy paradox, right? Their body is often built to be strong and agile, but this quote from the source material nails why they can often be pretty sedentary. That brain of theirs is like a supercomputer that consumes a ton of energy. It literally sucks it all up into their head, leaving not much left for running around. All right, so now that we know how they're wired, let's look at their default settings. You know, the character traits that are just hardwired in. And we'll also get into some of the surprising internal conflicts they have to deal with. Okay, so these are the TI's 10 core programs. You can kind of break them down into a few buckets. First, you've got their obsession with control. They're scheduled, always on time, and super responsible. Then there's their method of doing things. They're focused, incredibly thorough, almost mechanistic. And finally, it's their mindset. They're independent, careful, and they're always aiming to be the expert, the one with the master plan. These things are pretty much constants. And this is where it gets really interesting. These people are full of contradictions. They are fiercely logical, right? But if that logic hits a dead end, they'll suddenly pivot and rely on some kind of gut feeling, an X factor. They can manage huge, complex systems, but they can also be terrified to step outside their comfort zone. This whole push and pull is a huge part of who they are. So with this complex internal world, what's their superpower? Where do they just absolutely shine? Well, it all comes down to their profound built-in drive for expertise. We can actually put a name to their core strength, a high technical quotient, or TQ. Now, this isn't just about being good with computers. It's way deeper than that. It's this innate talent for deep reasoning. They just get how complex systems, machines, and all sorts of technologies work, right down to the nuts and bolts. And this high TQ shows up as this relentless drive for effectiveness. It's not enough for things to just work. For them, things have to work with maximum output and zero uncertainty. And this applies to everything, from running a factory to just managing their own bank account. Every single decision has to be logical, efficient, and effective. Okay, so they've got all this internal power, right? But how do they actually turn that into real-world success? This last part is all about their specific path to mastery. If there is one word you take away from all this, let it be this one: tapak. It's a term from our source, and it basically means a physical base, a footprint, a solid foundation. For a Taki, this is the absolute non-negotiable starting point. And the source material could not be more clear on this point. It says a TU needs a stable, physical place to anchor all their work and thinking. You know, a permanent headquarters, an office, a workshop, whatever it is, that physical space gives them the structure and stability they need to build something that lasts. And you can see the whole journey mapped out right here. It all starts with establishing that tapak, that solid base of operations. From there, they grow the base. And it's through that growth that they achieve what's called tata, which means the throne, a position of real authority and expertise. See? The base is what lets them build their throne.
So, where are the best places to build this throne? Well, this chart lays it all out. And you start to see a pattern, right? Technology, engineering, heavy industry, science, high-level management, these are all fields that don't just want, but reward the kind of deep, systematic expertise that is the TRS's greatest strength. And to wrap it up, here's a final checklist. Any career they choose really has to tick these 4 boxes. Does it involve deep reasoning? Does it require a strong, principled stance? Does it give them room to be independent? And, super important, does it demand that they go in-depth and become a true specialist? If the answer to all 4 is yes, well, you've found a perfect fit.
So when you look at the big picture, the entire operating system of the thinking introvert is built for one thing: mastery. Their logic, their internal drive, their need for a solid foundation, it all serves that one purpose of becoming a true expert. So the only question left, really, is what will they, or maybe what will you, choose to master?